Well, hi, friends, and welcome to NC Family's weekly update for the week ending Friday, September 13th. Oh no, Jerry, it's Friday the 13th.
Maybe we need to do research on that to show people there's no such thing as bad luck. But anyway.
Well, Friday the 13th has almost always been a great day, for me at least, so I don't know. I've not experienced the bad luck. But
Well, that could be the introduction to the study that we do on.
We'll take that under consideration. But welcome, everybody, and happy Friday the 13th. It has been an exciting week this week. We actually sent our 2024 general election voter guide to the printer. We're printing 250,000 copies of our 24-page newsprint voter guide, and are super excited about that. We interviewed or surveyed 400 candidates that are running for federal and state offices in North Carolina and asked them their opinions on a wide range of issues like the sanctity of life, religious liberty, educational choice, gender issues, a lot of really important stuff that you won't hear about anywhere else. So we're excited about that, and the voter guide will go live around the beginning of October. Of course, early voting starts in North Carolina on October the 17th, so you will have your voter guides in time to prepare for early voting.
Just going to mention that, John, when you mentioned 250,000, and I know we'll have more information as time goes on, we used to print up to 500,000. We're obviously living in a time where more and more people are going to use the online version of the voter guide, and we can go into more of those details later.
Yes. Well, that's true, and we do have a very robust voter guide website that will also go live at the beginning of October. So keep your eyes and ears open for information on that as that time approaches. There's also a great opportunity for you now to prepare in advance by going online and ordering voter guides in bulk through the link just right below this video. You can click there, you can go on, order voter guides in bulk for distribution at your church, your civic group, your community, and just keep in mind that the voter guides are bundled in quantities of 100. And so make sure you tell us in multiples of 100 how many voter guides you need to distribute at your church, in your neighborhood, and elsewhere, and we'll be happy to get those to you.
No charge for those.
I was getting there, Jerry.
I'm sorry.
No, the NC Family is excited to offer this voter guide project, as we have since the 2000 election, free of charge to the citizens of North Carolina. It's an educational public service that we're excited and happy to undertake. But the reality is it actually does cost NC Family about $100,000 to produce, to distribute, and to do this entire voter guide project. So there's also a link under the video where you can go to make a donation just to help us offset some of the cost of that voter guide project if you're so inclined. So we would certainly consider you doing that if that is something that is of interest to you. And that way we can actually get voter guides in the hands of more voters across the state. And that will always be a good thing. So, well, enough of that, Jerry. Let's move on to the other exciting news this week. And that is that the North Carolina General Assembly was back in Raleigh, back in session, and actually took considerable action on a very important matter. So tell us about that.
All right, exactly. They set aside a few days each month through the rest of this year to come if they had business. We didn't know if or when, but this week they did choose to pass significant legislation. Originally, the bill that they voted on related to immigration. How local law enforcement would cooperate with federal agents as it came to applying the law in cases where, these were not simple criminal cases. So they've been actually debating this for about 5 years. The House and Senate passed different versions of it, so they have what they call as a conference report. They come together, try to find language that both chambers agree on, which they did as it relates to the immigration issue, but now they also added some significant funding because they did not pass. The short session typically involves adjustments to the state budget, the 2-year budget that was passed last year. That had not happened yet. So what they did is they added provisions related to the state budget to this immigration bill. Well, it originally started out. the significant items on it, there are a number of items. One relates to Medicaid funding, high-speed internet for rural areas, and all these are increases in funding that need to be made. There's some enrollment growth funding for K through 12 public schools and for community colleges as well. But the other part of it that we've been talking about for months now, the Opportunity Scholarship funding, which was passed last year, but they found there had a wait list of over 55,000 students. Well, obviously the school year has started, so people are going, how is this going to help? Well, the reality is, well, they did finally pass that, but it's not law yet because it goes to the governor.
Right.
And people are anticipating, they don't know, a number of the items that I mentioned that are in this, we're hopeful the governor is supportive of. We know he's not supportive of opportunity scholarships, maybe about the provisions related to immigration law. We don't know, but the reality is it doesn't become law, and we have 10 days now where the governor can either sign it into law, he can hold on to it without signing, it becomes law, or he can veto it. So those are all possibilities of what we're looking at. We're hopeful that this will become law. If, in fact, he vetoes this, the legislature's scheduled to come back on October the 9th, and then again November 19th through 21st. So either one of those time periods would be when they could come back and override veto. I know we've mentioned this many times, but this is the reality right now, and nobody knows what's going to happen after the election as far as next year. But this is a time where the House and Senate have a supermajority, but getting everybody in town to vote is a critical part of the dynamic that's being looked at right now by all of us.
And while Republicans have supermajorities in both chambers, they have it by the narrowest of margins.
Right. Yeah.
And so if everybody's here in both chambers, Republicans have to have all their members there.
Right.
And so to override the governor's veto. So the margins are as narrow as they can possibly be.
Right.
So, and it's, people have likened it to herding cats to get all these members back, especially during this time of year when the General Assembly is typically not in session.
Right.
So, but they can, they can certainly make that happen if the need arises.
All right. Two other notes on that. One of the good things that's in this, even though the school year has started, there's a provision in the bill that makes this funding retroactive.
Yep.
So if it can still work out for schools and for families to make this change, there are other details, and that's a challenge for everybody to work through because the school year has started, but that's still something that can happen for a number of families. The last note on that is they provided, looking forward, a lot of additional funding for these scholarships, not just for the opportunity scholarships, but also for children with disabilities. And that's, even though there are challenges right now if the law passes, as far as this school year, as we look ahead on through, the bill says 2032 to 33 and thereafter.
Yep.
So there's significant funding. So hopefully this challenge that we have about the wait list will be addressed by this additional funding as we look ahead. So it's been a very, encouraging week about a lot that's happened at the legislature.
And just as a quick reminder about this, as you may recall, last year the General Assembly, with respect to opportunity scholarships, made North Carolina's program universal. So it applies to all families, or it makes all families in the state eligible that have children. And it doesn't mean everybody will, but everybody has the opportunity to apply for these grants and take advantage of the program, which is awesome, but they just had no way to anticipate the demand that was going to result. And because the demand was so much greater than what they anticipated, the cost associated with that demand was far more than they anticipated. So thus the need for them to come back and look at adjusting this appropriation and providing more funds, not only for this current school year, but also for years in advance, as you said, Jerry. And so that's really exciting that the legislative leadership and the members of the House and Senate have made such a commitment to opportunity scholarships and school choice for families and parents and children in North Carolina for well into the future. So it's important for that program to continue, however, to remain or maintain majorities in the legislature that are school choice proponents. And so that is a critical issue as we look ahead, because the next General Assembly could come in and completely do away with this program if they were so inclined, and hopefully they will not be. But that is important to always keep in mind with respect to this. But they took great action. We're so excited to see that, and North Carolina continues to be one of the leading states in the nation when it comes to school choice in lots of different forms here. So we're super excited.
All right.
Yep.
And want to continue to thank y'all for your involvement, because just even this week, I saw parents and children there at the General Assembly to encourage them on this particular issue to do what needed to be done for a lot of families across our state.
Exactly.
So it is. It's people. Sometimes you can think, well, does it make a difference? I think it does. Legislators see these families, these young people there. They're going, okay, it's not just an issue that's on paper. These are families across North Carolina. So thank y'all for working on this as well as many other issues.
Yep. Well, thank you, Jerry, and thanks for your presence at the legislature and the work that you do there, and Sharon as well on our government relations team. It's a team effort, and so just like with this issue, when we work together, and the Lord willing, with God's intervention and blessing, we can see some really great things happen. So, very exciting week, and we will continue to promote and advocate for school choice in North Carolina, and the continuation and expansion of this and other programs. So good stuff happening. Well, friends, as we talked about earlier on in the video, make sure you click on the links below the video to order voter guides in bulk for distribution at your church and neighborhood. You can also, again, contribute to the project by clicking on the link there to make a donation to help us offset the cost of that. Let me just say also, if you are already on NC Family's mailing list and you receive our magazine, Family North Carolina, you're going to already automatically get an individual copy of the voter guide for your household. So don't worry about that. If you get our magazine, you'll get the voter guide. But if you don't currently get our magazine, go on our website at ncfamily.org and sign up to make sure you get that. And then you will be sure to get a copy of the voter guide. And again, if you want to order voter guides in bulk, you can do that below the video there. We also have information about the Opportunity Scholarship expansion as a link under the video too, so you can get more information there if you need that. Finally, I just want to say, be sure to tune in next week. We're going to have a super exciting announcement to make, so you'll want to be tuned in for that, relating to the NC Family team and how we are expanding by God's grace and the generosity of our supporters. So be sure to tune in next week, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. Thanks so much, and God bless you.